Welcome to Conscious Living Collective, transformative journey in consciousness with community of like-minded people from all over the world. My name is Tomek. I'm a scientist, teacher, and transformation coach. In this live session, we blend the latest in the scientific research, the deep wisdom of mindfulness, and the art of fulfilled living. As always, this is an invitation to have a direct experience, for you to have a direct experience and to emerge on the other side with a renewed sense of purpose and well-being. Welcome to a session of Conscious Living Collective with the topic of the frequency of aliveness, tuning into your inner fire. Thank you so much for being here. And before we jump into the topic, as always, I want to acknowledge you, the active ingredient of these sessions, starting with my wonderful members of Patreon program, Anne, Parvana, Seth. Very good to see you here. It is always a pleasure when you are here and you co-create this space. We can do it together. Also, hello Karen, hello Bev, hello Hillary, Anita. Very good to see you all here, and I hope to create a direct experience for you. So we can not only talk about the topics of importance, but have the inner sense, because as much as we can talk about inner fire, the main purpose of today, by the end of the session, I want you to experience it, not being just an analogy or metaphor, but a first-hand direct experience. So, oh yeah, Seth, thank you for reminding me. Hello, Tosca. Anybody here who is for the first time? So I give a very brief intro on how CLC is working, how it's going to be run today. Just simply raise your hand, raise your virtual hand. Tara, first timer, fantastic. Hillary, first timer as well. Anybody else? Marlo, welcome Marlo. Okay, so for you in particular, I want to extend a warm welcome and say that Sessions of Conscious Living Collective has been running on Inside Timer for quite some time. Now we have two, not one, but two sessions a week, and all the replays you can find on my YouTube channel. So if you missed anything or want to make yourself familiar with how CLC are being run, this is a great place to start. In the name of quick introduction, we will always start with a conversation first and then meditation in the second part. But one flows out of the other. They are connected. My favorite scientific equation, for those of you who don't know, is knowledge plus first-hand experience equals wisdom. And we are all here to acquire or discover wisdom, not something that is out there, but it's something that is within you. Wisdom is an inner experience. It's not something that you read. It's not something that you hear about. It is an inner experience and inner world. And we have been dancing around a few keywords that are analogies, metaphors, synonyms, however you wish to describe it, of a deeper reality that we call consciousness. And those keywords were frequency, manifestation, and harmony, and resonance. Am I getting it right? Or would you like to add anything else for those of you who have been attending CLCs during which I introduced these topics of the past couple of weeks? So we definitely have consciousness as a spectrum, frequency spectrum. We have harmony, we have alignment, and now I'm adding some more. Anything else that comes to your mind that you would like to include as a energy Okay, so there's a connection, there's a frequency, there is a vibration. There you go. That's the word I was looking for. Frequency, vibration, energy. There's actually a scientific equation that connects frequency and energy. Energy equals H, which is Planck constant, and V, which is the frequency. Tara, focus or perspective. Okay, these are good too. So today we take yet another angle towards extracting from how we are and where we are the energy of aliveness. Another analogy, what we are here about. Because let me start by saying that inner fire is not something that you ignite, but is something that you want to uncover from under the pile of also many different things like chronic overthinking, emotional suppression, disconnection from the body. These are things that, in the light of today's metaphor, they are things that are dimming our inner fire. And what are the things that help us to connect with the inner fire, with the creative potential that is always within? And this is a question to you, and to perhaps rephrase it. When do you feel most alive? What are you doing, feeling, or thinking in these moments? When do you think are the most connected with the inner fire? Whatever that means to you, I do not want to explain too much. Allow yourself to follow kind of the intuition, which is not derived out of thinking, but it is kind of there. This is also an exercise in intuition. What is the first answer that comes to mind when I ask you that question? And in the meantime, hello, Linda. Hello, Sandy. Good to see you here. So I want this session to be very experiential. I want you to feel it for yourself. Hello, S. At work. Okay. Can you share with us what specifically about work, or which aspect of it? I want you to dig a bit deeper and share with us. And obviously anybody else in the meantime is welcome to contribute. Yes, Parvane, when do you feel most alive? When do you feel, and this is kind of two-part question, which is similar. When do you feel most connected to the source of your inner fire, your inner spark? When do you feel most alive? When do you feel connected with your inner fire? And again, remember, inner fire, it's a metaphor. I do not want to describe it. What doesn't come to the surface when I ask you this question? As researching and solving problems, fellow scientist, good to see you here. That's how I like researching and solving problems. Hillary, I feel alive when I'm one with the sun. What does it mean to you? What are the feelings and sensations that coming through the sun? By the way, sun is the biggest, to our understanding, in our solar system, fission reactor that essentially is a ball of fire. So this is very, very interesting, very apt comparison. And making art, working in my garden, spending time with loved ones. Yes, the work in my garden, that's what resonates with me. Even I don't work that much in the garden, but we have a wonderful papaya tree that is bearing fruits right now, and they are delicious. Melly walking in nature, on the water or in the forest. For Sandy, when I'm outdoors. Seth, in solitude. I'll raise my hand here. There are those sweet moments that I'm not feeling alone, but I'm in solitude. There's a very, very interesting thing to discover there. And we will be discovering that today, because even though we are all connected, both with each other, through nature, through the fact that we share similar DNA, many different connections, we will be in solitude. When you close your eyes and tune in into, when I lead you into our meditation today, which I'll introduce later, you will be by yourself. But it doesn't mean, you'll be in solitude, but it doesn't mean that you will be alone. See, two different concepts. Bev, when practicing mindfulness. Tosca, with my grandchildren. Parvane, when creatively successful. Okay, so there's a sense of achievement there. Very interesting. Anita, because it's a rare thing for me, often feeling excluded. So when we come together, it's a bliss. So the sense of belonging, it's there. It is, I have to share my personal experience. The big part of the reason why I feel so engaged in my source of the inner fire, and I'm connected with the source of my inner fire, it's because the sense of connectedness that I feel with you is the fact that I know there's someone on the other side of the screen that I am connecting with. And I know it's not a direct physical connection, but we know for a fact that the physical connection, again, you can feel connected even in solitude. So this is a great, both Seth and Bev contribute to that understanding in here. Also, Marlo, when I'm alone, okay? Healer, I become permeable. I think that's a reference to the sun. Well, it goes without saying that everything that you see on this planet is basically an energy of the sun. And it's not a metaphor. It's not a magical thing. Imagine this. When the rays of sun, when the photons that are being produced by the fission reaction in the center of the sun being expelled outwards, and they arrive to planet Earth, what happens? All the plants, and that's the part of science that is absolutely fascinating. All the plants, they contain this magical substance called chlorophyll that has ability of capture electrons and convert them through a cascade of photochemical reactions into a mass. So we actually, what you see here, who you are partially, is the energy of the sun converted into mass using the equation that Einstein came up with, right? Energy equals E equals mc squared. Energy equals mass times speed of light, right? So they convert energy from the sun into a mass. So this is I just want to pick on it and include a bit of science, which is absolutely fascinating. Linda, meditating, astrophotography, and canoeing. I'll be very curious to hear what astrophotography is. Okay, so you are connected with the aspects of self that represents that inner fire, okay? And from the neuroscientific point of view, there is a system within your brain that it's called reticular activating system, RAS, that determines alertness and engagement. So when you feel that aliveness connected with the inner fire, that means that you are engaging the system and stimulating the rest of the body to be in attunement. And again, this is something we spoke about in the previous sessions to connect it all together. The frequency, the vibration, that it's either in tune or it's out of tune. So we always in these moments feel this sense of attunement that expresses itself as the sensation of okayness of some sort. And I want you to refer right now to the experience that you shared in the comment section. So come back and now bring forth the memory and of those moments when you felt that, and that will actually activate your reticular activation system and make you more attuned. So what I'm trying to say, that dimming and igniting in a fire is not always a result of an external circumstances, right? We do not always have to be in nature or be with someone or have those special circumstances that seem really good from the perspective of your conditioned mind. It is something that it is always at your disposal. And through that, what I'm offering, what I'm inviting you to is to tap into the system or activate the system of inner empowerment. Does it make sense? It's not something that is external, but it's something that is internal. And we over the past couple of weeks or even months, we've been discovering those different layers of understanding what there is inside of us that is always at our disposal that we can activate. We are aligned with, I'm using different words to describe the same phenomenon on the level of sensations. Alignment, attunement, harmonizing, whichever way you want to choose it, but you are the active ingredient. You making the decision. And something I've learned from my patrons, by the way, during last session of our collective, was that when I use word, for instance, excitement, it does not resonate with everyone. You do not have to feel something that is very, exciting, but it's not something that it's extraordinary. It's something that you feel only once in a blue moon. For many of my patrons, the interesting observation was that actually excitement might be difficult to access. It is the inner state that is, in your perception, above your current state. And that's what we will be doing. We will all, as we sit here, we will feel differently. We will not be in the same kind of frequency, but what I invite you to go above the frequency that you are in right now. It is in your power. It is your decision to make an effort to go just a notch above what you are right now. And even though it's different to each and every one of us, because again, the representation of inner fire, as I invited you at the beginning of the session, may be different to each of you, right? It is from your perspective, which is the most important one, above all the way you're right now. So I may call it, for instance, excitement. When I speak to you, I feel excited. But for some of you, you feel low right now, and you will bring your level to just neutral. But that neutral to some of you is actually far greater in terms of switching levels, distance between where you are and where you're going, much greater than someone who say, I'm already feeling great and moving just one level up to feeling excited. So once again, it's not about moving from to excitement or to some special state. It's elevating yourself. And this is the important part of it. You elevating yourself with the assistance and presence of all of us together. So this process of your inner elevation, igniting your fire, your inner fire, is of your doing. Does it make sense? And as always, when it comes to our inner experience, we will be using the most sophisticated scientific instrument there is at our disposal, which is our physical body. So we will be tuning and attuning into the physical sensations of your body on many different levels. For those of you who practice mindfulness, body scans, who practice body awareness, all those somatic practices, you know what I mean. That's where you be able to experience that inner fire on a physical level. I always say that our body is an expression of our conscious state, and we co-create and recreate every single cell of our body continuously. Even though it doesn't sound from the perspective of the mind very logical, that's exactly what is happening. You continuously recreating according to Planck constant, tend to the smallest bit of information, the smallest time bit, it's 10 to minus 40 of the second, which is 40 zeros past the comma. So it's a very, very small number, which means that the frequency of that change of that process is incredibly fast. It happens literally billions upon billions upon billions times per second. And we are not our physical senses are not capable of perceiving such high frequency, but nevertheless, that's what is happening on the level of the body from the perspective of the consciousness. Okay, so we already have a reference mentally to the moments where we connect with the inner fire. We already know that the way to have a first-hand experience of that inner fire is on the level of your body through somatic connection that you will make. And now I will want to add to you the last part that is the key to our practice today, and that is of your heart. See, and now everything comes the frequency, right? As in the frequency of your heartbeat. It's usually 60 beats per second, but the distance between the beats are obviously very different. Okay? So now we will be following your heart rhythm and see how it helps you to attune to the inner sensations and what is the result of that connection. And the first experience will be that of your connection with your heartbeat. And now the caveat here, or not a warning, but maybe something to notice, is that connecting with your heart at first is not very easy. It seems that the beat of our heart is very faint. So you will need to make an effort to quiet yourself down or do whatever it takes. I'm not going to use the word quiet or or inhale or exhale. Do whatever feels right from your perspective to connect and feel the beating of your heart, and stay with it for as long as you can. And during this process, we will experience obviously mind wandering and thoughts and other sensations that will be competing. Your awareness will be competing for the attention. But the objective of connecting with the inner fire will be through your heartbeat, because what? Your heart is the center of aliveness. And it is only natural that we use that inner organ of inner alignment, as I call it, alignment between your brain and the rest of the body, in order to access that wisdom and that knowledge that is always there, or the inner fire. How does it sound? Is everybody ready? Okay, let's do it. As I mentioned at the beginning of this session, I will be using Peter's Helland, The Hidden Valley, which is a wonderful music that will support us on this journey. So let me switch into the meditation screen. I want to check if everything is in order. Okay. We begin this meditation by acknowledging that there is infinite potential within us. We are here not to discover something new, but simply tap into the existing potential that very often is buried under the layers of overthinking, emotional suppression, and other sensations. From the perspective of your mind, this sounds difficult because your mind is conditioned to seek obstacles, to seek problems, to focus on the negative according to the principle of negativity bias. But right here in this very moment, see, there are no problems to solve. It is simply you lifting yourself up from the state of where you are just a couple of inches higher by recognizing that you can. It is an experiment. It is an attempt. And every outcome will be very welcome. So see for yourself, how do you feel in this very moment? Do you feel that you are ready to tune into the source of your inner fire? If so, begin gently connecting with the natural flow of your breath. This is the first step. Establish connection with the inner sensations. As you breathe in and out, feel a gentle expansion and contraction of your body. You may feel it through your belly, perhaps through your chest, perhaps through the expansion and contraction of your entire body. And recognize that the nature of this interaction is very neutral. Your breath is neither positive or negative. It simply is, and it is yours. And now, as you feel that your body settles down a bit, see if you can feel the beating of your heart, whatever that means to you. If you're finding it difficult, I suggest taking a deeper breath and holding it for just a moment. And when you're holding your breath, you may find that finding the rhythm of your heart will be easier. And this will serve as a reference for your search. See that when you connect with the rhythm of your heart, you are in this state of high awareness. Your inner senses are focused and ready, because in a meditative state, your heart slows down, and detecting that beat is a very subtle exercise. So when you are able to detect your heartbeat through your inner sensations, you are already well attuned with your inner world, with yourself, and you are well harmonized with everything that there is. So now, we'll let you practice on your own for a few minutes, and I will bring you back when the time is up. to come back. Check in and see how you were affected by this period of focus centered around your heartbeat. See for yourself if you can feel a difference. And now to come back to your physical senses, simply shift your awareness to your vision through brighter and darker spots in front of your closed eyes, your hearing through the sound of music, the sound of my voice, briefly senses of smell and taste, and then sense of touch. Your feet on the floor, your hands in your lap, your sit bones, your lower and upper back, all connected with the surface upon which they rest. And finally, to finish up, take another deep cleansing breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And when ready, open your eyes and welcome back. Thank you for meditating with me. How did it feel to connect with your heartbeat? Were you able to detect at least a few heartbeats and how it felt? Was it easy? Was it difficult? Perhaps some of you can share your experience. As you type in your comments, I just want to say that was the first intuitive practice I did at the beginning of my meditation journey. Back then, I wasn't sitting up. I was lying down, mostly on the floor, and intuitively felt that tuning into the rhythm of my heart is the path to follow. And these first few experiences almost defined my path in meditation. And even though I don't use it anymore, because it was a huge energetic opening for me when I start doing it, it is still something that I think I have a soft spot for. And there's something intuitively valid in your ability to connect with your heartbeat. For Linda, it was easy. For Anita, the pause was felt strongly and widespread in the body. This is something that was my experience as well. That I remember it. You can't. It's a pulse that it can be felt at the level of your entire body, not through your heartbeat. Heartbeat is just the beginning. So wonderful. Really have some very interesting experiences there. Anybody else wishes to share experience from this meditation? Okay. The most important thing is to practice on your own and for yourself and find your own validity in this practice. This is the most important aspect of it. Whatever you get out of it, whatever you discovered, apply for yourself and practice so you can tune in the way you like, you find beneficial for yourself. Seth, deep concentration, could only connect intermittently, but felt gratified in the search. So this is usually how it happens. It's not for me, it never has been an easy practice because it requires a lot of focus and concentration. And obviously, as I said, during the practice, there will be competing elements like other thoughts, other sensations, maybe some external noises, something like that. So it's not an easy practice, but it is rewarding. So I'm glad that you find this search rewarding. Yeah, it's not about destination, it's about a journey. Well, I want to thank you, all of you, for your participation today, for your time and for your presence. It was really fun to talk once again about those topics that I think we don't get the chance to talk about in our daily life. And one of the important parts of the reasons for me to lead Conscious Living Collective is to tap into the topics that somehow we miss in our daily life, but we know they are important to our well-being and who we are. So for those of you who are interested, particularly the first timers that are interested in discovering more about how to connect with yourself and empower yourself on a deeper level, I have a course called 6 Laws of Conscious Living that I know so many of you have already taken. But for those of you who still haven't taken it, please consider listen on your way to work or when you have a spare few minutes, only about 10-12 minutes per session, and see for yourself how you can find new ways to empower yourself to who you are, how to tap into that innate fire that is always part of you, but again, it's been hindered by also many different human experiences that we have here. I sincerely invite you to. And well, I also invite you to join the next session of Conscious Living Collective. And for those of you who don't know how to do it, the easiest way is to go to my profile on Insight Timer and follow me there. Turn the notifications so you see when the next one is coming. Okay? This is by far the easiest way. We spend so much time on our devices. If we receive that notification about upcoming live event, I think this is one that, at least for me, is acceptable amongst all the noise that is happening through our devices. So once again, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your presence. I will leave you, as always, with Peter Helland and his Hidden Valley, a wonderful companion to our journey today. I look forward to see you again soon, and until then.